Romulan Commander Denatra appeared in Star Trek Nemesis as one of the conspirators in the plot to elevate Shinzon of Remus to a position of praetor of the Romulan Star Empire. She initially aided the villain. This was until she had a turning point. Discovering that Shinzon was planning to destroy all life on Earth, she took her Romulan warbird and attempted to stop Shinzon and the Scimitar by assisting the USS Enterprise E in the Battle of the Basin Rift. Once the battle was over and Shinzon was defeated, the Enterprise E was able to assist Denatra after the Valdor had been disabled. What happened to this Romulan character? Where did her story go after Star Trek Nemesis? Today, in Star Trek Explained, we find out what happened to Romulan Commander Denatra. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack. Before we warp into this video, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Star Trek universe. As always, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, because if you're talking about Star Trek, then we want to hear about it. Okay, engage. To explore Denatra's story more, we must look at the extended canon of the Star Trek universe. These stories are commonly known as beta canon, which comes from books, comics, and video games. Don't worry, when we discuss specific plot elements, we'll tell you where you can explore these stories for yourself. Speaking of which, as most of this footage will come from Star Trek Nemesis and most of the information will come from Star Trek books, we don't have footage to correspond with the books. As such, we will use reference footage where and when available. Speaking about the books, if you want to find a full list, I've included one down below in the video description with Amazon links so you can go and purchase these stories for yourself. Let's look back at Denatra's early life. She was born in 2327 to a Romulan military family. Both her mother and father were commanders. While they instructed their daughter to think freely, they also told Denatra to keep her thoughts to herself. The city of Vela Sator on Romulus was considered to be Denatra's home. Unfortunately, in typical Romulan style, Denatra's father vanished. He dared to suggest to the Romulan praetor that the Empire's usual policy of enslaving subject races would not work on a species known as Azarians. Aware the family would now be closely monitored, Denatra and her mother never spoke of the incident. To ensure Denatra's survival, her mother passed her guardianship to Commander Saran, a respected Romulan military officer. He also appears in Star Trek Nemesis, supporting Shinzon. Under Saran's watch, Denatra escaped the political stigmas of her father and quickly climbed the ranks of the military. In 2379, Denatra was awarded her own command with the IRW Valdor. This made her commander of the Imperial 3rd Fleet, equal to Commander Saran of the 5th Fleet. The events of Star Trek Nemesis take place next. The key characters to remember here are of course Shinzon, but also Commander Saran and Senator Talora. The Senator was seen murdering the other Romulan Senate members in the opening of the film. She made a quick escape from the Senate chamber, leaving behind a Phallon radiation device. Following Shinzon's coup, Denatra still maintained command of the IRW Valdor. She immediately established her own allegiances. Senator Talora was appointed as the new praetor of the Romulan Star Empire. As she was not willing to actually trust her fellow conspirators, she would appoint the Romulan known as Tomalok as the commander-in-chief of the Romulan Defense Force. This would backfire. Praetor Talora had underestimated the Romulans' loyalty under both commanders Denatra and Saran. Both would ally themselves with the Admiral Bragg. The former Romulan admiral had retired to stand against Talora's praetorship. This story is told with the Star Trek The Next Generation novel, Death in Winter. Civil unrest began to spring up on Romulus, orchestrated by Bragg, in an attempt to force Praetor Talora out of office. Commander Denatra went on the offensive and used the Romulan task forces to attack those of Tomalok. Unfortunately, Bragg's rebellion was crushed with heavy weaponry, which was used to quell the crowd. Bragg surrendered rather than allow a massacre. Denatra's fleet would withdraw after suffering losses. Both Saran and Denatra established a stronghold in the Basin Rift, at a location known as the Great Bloom. This phenomenon had developed at the site of the destruction of a scimitar. The commander's fleet included a number of ships that were officially written off as seized or destroyed in the Reman uprising of Shinzon's coup. Again, parts of the story are told through the Next Generation novel, Death in Winter. However, the story is also told through the first of the Star Trek Titan novels, Taking Wing. We've linked both of those in the video description for you. At this point, Denatra encountered the Lunar-class USS Titan under the command of newly promoted Captain William T. Riker. The Titan was en route to Romulan space to assess the Empire's progress following the coup. Commander Denatra, still commanding the IRW Valdor, offered to escort the Titan through space to protect it from rogue elements. The Titan's mission was to re-stabilize the Romulan political system. While at Romulus, another faction in the Romulan political situation, the Remans, threatened to attack Romulus unless they awarded a continent for Reman habitation. Denatra took the Valdor to intercept the Reman fleet, but was outnumbered and had to retreat to call in her backup. Commander Saran arrived to inform Denarcher that their fleet in the Basin Rift had simply vanished. Both commanders would return to Romulus to protect against a Reman attack. The situation would escalate further as Klingons within the Titan's convoy struck out of the Romulan vessels to safeguard the Remans. The USS Titan negotiated an agreement to let the Remans settle the continent under the protection of the Klingons. Raider Talora initially opposed this, but Denarcher supported it. With the USS Titans and Captain Riker's help, Commander Denarcher extensively searched for Greater Bloom for her missing fleet. Captain Riker aided her with the Titan's state-of-the-art sensors in trying to locate the missing starships. While both ships were investigating, they were pulled into an anomaly that displaced both vessels 210,000 light-years into the small Magellanic Cloud. The events we just discussed are told through the Star Trek Titan novel, Taking Wing. A link to the book is in the video description. However, we've recently recapped this story on the Trek Central channel. Please see that video if you'd like to learn more about Riker's first mission on the USS Titan. Continuing on, Denarcher regained consciousness and found her Valdor heavily damaged. Around this time, she also discovered the Klingon warship, Durg, had been following her on the Titan. This ship was even in worse condition. In a kind act, Denarcher had her crew pull the Durg and several escape pods out of the most volatile areas of the spatial anomaly. The Klingons were recruited to salvage components from their vessel to get the Valdor operational. In rescuing the Klingons, the Valdor crew also pulled in nearby escape pods. It turns out these were from a native vessel that had been destroyed. This new species identified themselves as a Neol. The Neol are a civilization descended from Earth's humanity that through genetic enhancements possess a thick grey skin, hand-like feet with opposable thumbs, and a tail. Recovering these survivors gave Denarcher new information on the current predicament. With the Valdor repaired and operational once again, they managed to locate the USS Titan and began working on a way home. While investigating, and deducing that the anomaly was an emergent proto-universe, the ships then discovered Denarcher's missing fleet. This Romulan fleet had been overtaken by rapidly developing sentience from a proto-universe. Riker and Denarcher beamed themselves and the away teams over to the IRW Rakoi to investigate. They found the Romulan crew alive but comatose. It seems the Romulan computer systems prevented the alien intelligence from killing the crew completely when it took control of the ships. Denarcher's crew successfully reprogrammed the fleet and returned control to the original crews. The spatial anomaly possessed destructive qualities, which was tearing local space apart and threatening nearby worlds. As such, Riker felt his duty to help the local population. He proposed to the joint fleets that they evacuate as much of the population as possible from the Neol homeworld. Romulan Commander Saran rejected this idea and ordered the fleet to prepare to return through the rift. Commander Denarcher initially complied with Saran. However, her immorality and increasing tensions with the commander led her to relieve him and assume total command of the Romulan fleet. Denarcher then took the Romulan fleet to the Neol homeworld and began assisting the Titan. It took 4 days to transport the refugees to the Vanguard colony. While transporting the colony back to the Milky Way, a Valdor crew member discovered that Commander Denarcher and her chief medical officer, Dr. Venora, had put Saran into a medically induced slumber. This crew member revived the commander, who immediately went to the bridge to confront Denarcher. A tense standoff ensued, but Denarcher finally ended it by killing him on the bridge of a starship. Still a Romulan at heart, Denarcher would destroy the Klingon ship that had been secretly spying on him the whole time. She convinced Captain Riker to allow her Romulan fleet to assist in the towing of the Klingon ship on the journey back home. With the use of an unbalanced arrangement of tractor beams, the ship was destroyed, preventing it from reporting back on the state of Denarcher's Romulan fleet. Captain Riker was immensely disappointed in Denarcher as he came to see her as an ally. However, the commander considered it merely what had to be done. The Star Trek Titan novel, The Red King, tells of previous events. Given the Valdor had sustained continual damage in all these adventures, Denarcher needed to repair her starship. She did not trust the shipyard and technicians located on the two worlds, as they were loyal to Praetor Talora. Instead, she set a course for another location where she knew the crew would be loyal. En route, the Valdor was attacked by 4 birds of prey. After destroying the lead starship, Denarcher convinced the next most senior commander, Norvid, to come with her to the shipyards and gain more information. Towards the end of the year of 2380, Denarcher had consolidated her power and made a move against the Romulan Star Empire under Talora. On the planet of Archinal Prime, she declared the existence of the Imperial Romulan state and declared herself as the Empress. She made use of the parts of the military that were still loyal to her and took control of other systems and worlds, including Virnat, Agastilia, Ratalac, and more. These are the primary agriculture planets that serve the Romulan Star Empire. This bold move left Denarcher holding the Empire's food supply hostage. The events here are told in the Star Trek novel Articles of the Federation. The Klingon Empire immediately recognized Denarcher's new Romulan government. However, the United Federation of Planets initially refused to intervene, still considering this an internal Romulan affair. By 2381, and due to pressure from the Klingon Empire, the Federation eventually recognized the sovereignty of the Imperial Romulan state. The Federation and the Imperial Romulan state established diplomatic relations through mutual ambassadorial appointments, with Denacha selecting former Warbird commander, Jovis, as her diplomatic envoy to the Federation. During the Borg invasion of 2381, Ambassador Jovis conveyed to the Federation President, Natina Bako, that Denacha sought to initiate a fresh chapter of peaceful relations with the Federation. Denacha's commitment to the Federation would later be demonstrated when, during the Borg conflict, the Romulan Imperial State Warbird, Verifax, sacrificed itself to save the Federation planet, Ardana, from a Borg invasion. These events are told through the Star Trek Destiny novel, Mere Mortals. Following the Borg invasion, the Federation found its resources severely depleted, and the assistance they had been offering to Romulus after Shinzon's takeover was deemed a dispensable commitment. Nevertheless, Denacha refused to trade with Talora, whilst the Romulan Star Empire remained critically short of food supplies. The Federation dispatched numerous diplomats and Starfleet commanders to negotiate with Denacha, ultimately enlisting Professor Sonek Pran to discuss with her, hoping to persuade her to consider trade relations with Talora and ease the Federation's burden. Unlike his predecessors, Professor Pran managed to persuade Empress Denacha that she had emerged victorious in her conflict with Talora, suggesting that her perceived ambition of bringing the Romulan people together amidst Talora's declining influence was already taking shape, considering Talora lacked sufficient military strength to challenge Denacha directly, whilst the Imperial Romulan state controlled crucial food supplies. Pran contended that if Denacha established trade relations with the Empire, the population would clearly recognize who was responsible for their sustenance. Nevertheless, she faced outright dismissal when Denacha attempted to initiate dialogue with Talora. Later, the real reasons were revealed. Traitor Talora had actually had the Romulan Star Empire join the new interstellar alliance known as the Typhon Pact. The Typhon Pact was a group of nations united in currency, trade, and technology. It styled itself as an opposition force to the Federation and the Klingons. To contend with a growing political headache, the Federation invited several states, including the Imperial Romulan state, to join in an expansion of the Khitomer Accords. Empress Denacha would immediately accept this offer, but official talks were delayed for some time. The events here, which are some great Romulan political stories, are told through the novels Star Trek: A Singular Destiny and Rough Beasts of the Empire. In 2381, Empress Denacha and the Imperial Romulan state fell victim to a calculated propaganda initiative orchestrated by Praetor Talora, aimed at merging the divided Romulan empires. Talora concocted false evidence suggesting Denacha had employed a Reman killer to eliminate Ambassador Spock on Romulus, which Spock mistakenly interpreted as the Empress's fearful attempt to safeguard her realm. He summarized that Denacha would seek his elimination to halt the reunification movement, as it could trigger efforts to reunite Romulus itself. Though Denacha was actually blameless in these accusations, the harm was irreversible. Spock shared his analysis with the Praetor, who then legalized the reunification movement in Romulan territory, swiftly transforming into a campaign for Imperial reunification. When the propaganda began undermining her Empire citizens' confidence and the Federation declined military support, Denacha approached Talora seeking a partnership beneficial to the Romulan populace. Talora responded by summoning Denacha to Romulus, and she accepted the invitation. Upon her arrival, Talora promptly ordered Denacha's detention for her offense against Spock. Denacha was confined to a holding cell in the Ark security facility. 4 weeks later, Talora declared that the Imperial Romulan state had been incorporated into the Romulan Star Empire, effectively dissolving it. Denacha, who remained uncharged, was found dead in her cell the next day after a proclamation, having bled out from her self-inflicted wounds using a shattered data tablet, though evidence suggests that her suicide was orchestrated, with Talora or her agents likely responsible. Denacha's storyline takes a different route into the lead up to Star Trek Online, the MMO video game. This game told its own storyline in a web series called The Path to 2409, which cleared up many events before the video game's story could take place. In 2385, following Talora's murder, yes, events do happen differently here, Denacha seized a chance to gain public support amongst the Romulan populace by distributing food supplies to civilian planets within the Star Empire. Working alongside Proconsul Sela and Tal Shiar Commander Rehuk, Denacha consented to reintegrate the territories of Imperial Romulan state back into the Star Empire, whilst maintaining her control over military operations, keeping the majority of her troops stationed away from Romulus should the truce prove unstable. The newly consolidated Romulan Senate selected Senator Chulon as the new Praetor. As Denacha's influence grew as a diplomatic leader and her military authority gave her leverage over the Praetor, she initiated diplomatic discussions with the Remans, ensuring their physical prowess and resource abundancy by conferring with Conan Zemek to extend Senate representation and full citizenship to all Remans. In the following year, Denacha backed an initiative to assist the Remans in departing from Remus and establishing a new settlement on the planet of Quaterus. On the stardate 63322.55 in 2386, Rehuk unveiled the conclusions of his probe into Talora's murder, attributing it to a coordinated effort by vengeful noble households. Denatra and Sela insisted on reviewing the supporting evidence, but Rihik declined to share it. This development strained the relationship between Rihik and Sela, though Denatra maintained her distance, advising Operator to resolve the matter independently. Soon after this, assailants attacked Rihik's residence, killing him and his household, and soon after, authorities apprehended Sela and tried her for the killings. Though Sela received a death sentence, Denatra stepped in at the final moment and negotiated her exile with her followers instead. Later in the year, Taurus contacted Denatra to inform her she was travelling to Levara 5 to investigate reports that the sword of a Raptor star had been rediscovered. In 2387, following a Senate gathering, Colonel Zemek extended an invitation to Denatra to visit the Reman settlement on Craterus. During their journey, they ventured near enough to the Hobos system to perform a sensor analysis. After examining the colony's development, she engaged in a private discussion with him, where he revealed concerns about potential dissident factions within the Romulan military and administration. Following this, she requested his presence at the forthcoming Senate Assembly aboard the IRW Valdor in Key Baraton. During Stardate 6444.5, Valdor detected extraordinary cosmic phenomena, including a disruption matching the intensity of a 4-7 ion storm. The Hobos star underwent a nova event. After losing communication with Denatra's vessel, Romulus deployed 4 Detrodex-class warbirds to investigate. Despite thorough searches, neither Denatra, the Valdor, nor any debris were discovered. The supernova that followed destroyed Romulus and was presumed to have claimed Denatra. Rather than perishing in the supernova, Denatra eventually encountered the Borg and was assimilated. The collective permitted her to retain her birth name rather than assigning her a standard Borg identifier. She commanded the Borg initiative to journey backwards through time to eliminate the Federation in the 24th century. When these schemes were thwarted, the Borg attacked the gathered Federation and Klingon Defense Force vessels. Denatra now helmed a colossal and extensively Borg-modified Scimitar-class ship named the IRW Valdor. The events here take place in the Star Trek Online missions Khitomer Vortex and Khitomer in Stasis. That's the end of our video. Would you like to see more of Denatra in the Star Trek universe? She certainly seemed like a very cool character in Star Trek Nemesis. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper, my friends.